Take the carburetors off, and then once we ride that one there, we'll put the carbs back on this one, and we'll put those carbs on this one, and then ride this one. That way, at least I get a chance to ride both of them. But those carbs, something's up. The needle on the seat stuck or something, so I'm gonna have to go back through it. Well, I think the transmission's about to take a real dump on it. We don't want to stop rattling now. See if we put it in gear. Put it in gear, it stops rattling, but if you lean it to the side, it starts right back. That's why I got it on the high stand. So something in there, there's a gear or something loose that's floating around. When you go to drive gear, I guess that's your high gear. You got neutral, low, and drive. When you go to the drive gear, that's when it starts rattling. But it does run pretty good though. Man, if you shift it to the second gear, drive gear, it is going to be rattling its tail off. I really hate that because the motor do run good, but let's see if we shift it up. I don't know if it does it when we got weight on it. It's weird. There it goes. But we're just gonna say this one's a parts bike until we figure out what we're gonna do with it. Like I say, we got the other one, so what I'm gonna do is pull the carburetors off of this one, the gas tank and the seat, and we'll focus on the other bike for right now. Pull the battery out of it, and we'll decide what we're going to do with it later. I'm probably even going to pull the pipes off of it too, because those are nice and chrome. Well, chromer than the other ones. Just got a little rust right there, but yeah, it's a shame that transmission's messed up, but that's how it is. So let's get work on the other one. Alright, so I was going to get this thing out and ride today, but something happened with the starter clutch. If you go back and look at the second video when we got this thing to turn over for the first time, the starter made a grinding sound. Well, I think the starter clutch has finally met its match, and it has went all the way out. So not going to be able to crank it up and ride it. I was going to crank it up and ride the thing, but that happened, so I'm gonna have to take the parts bike and take the starter clutch out of it and put it in this bike. Now you turn the key, that's all you get. So the starter is just freewheeling around the starter clutch. So I'll show you once more. So this is the starter clutch here. It actually is behind. This is your magneto for your stator. It's just a big magnet, and your stator runs in the center of it, and that's what creates electricity to charge your battery. Well, this is your starter clutch. Your starter gear sits here, and it runs against this gear here, but it's got a one-way bearing. So what happens is when you hit the starter, it don't spin it this way, it actually kicks it back this way to turn the engine. And once the engine cranks up and your starter stops turning, this is just kind of like just sitting around, you know, not doing anything. But free wheels that way, stops this way. So I'm gonna have to pull this whole magneto in the starter clutch. I'm just gonna pull the whole assembly off and put it on the other bike, and hopefully that'll solve that problem, because it cranked up one time and then just wow. But like I said, we got the seat, the gas tank, everything off the other bike on this bike. This bike here, I was thinking about using this bottom end. If it's got good gears and everything, maybe just take the starter clutch out of this bike and put this bottom end over on there. Get that one back running. Maybe this bottom end's good, maybe the motor's good. I know it ain't locked up. I don't know compression wise. That's how I got it. But we got some stuff in today. I ordered some side covers. They came all the way from across the pond. They're 450T side covers, but they're too small and they don't fit. I thought the A side covers and the regular 450L and T side covers was the same, but they're not. So got a good deal on them. The Bearded Mechanic, he has a YouTube channel. He just did a 82, I think, GS450. I don't know if it's a T or a L, but I'm gonna get with him and see if he wants to buy these side covers, because I think he was missing two. So and then I was saving this, I got this cool old school headlight cover. It's like a fairing. I'm saving it, but I might have to do some modifications to get it on because of the gauges. But those are cool back in the day. A lot of bikes had them. It's got the little clear windshield. I got this a long time ago, and I had been saving it to put on something, but it goes like that. Usually they're tinted. This one's clear, but that's what I was going to do, put that on, make it look cool at the front. Might have to do some little modifying. It comes with the brackets and everything. I got it from a guy who was going to use it, but he didn't use it. It's brand new, so we'll put that back in the box because I don't want it to get scratched. But anyway, that's my plan. I'm going to take the starter clutch and mag off of this bike, take that side cover back off this bike, get this one back turning over. I got to get a battery. That battery is junk, so we'll worry about that. And like I said, this bike for right now is just going to be sitting. So I'm going to try and get started on this. Got nice weather today. Go ahead and get this off. Get that tore down. Got to drain the oil back out, and hopefully we can get it out and ride it before it gets dark. All right, so I'm going to get to work. Alright, so this is the one-way bearing setup. One of the little rollers in there, they fell out when I took the gear off the back of it. So this has like a smooth surface where the bearing rides, and these little balls are spring loaded. Now I got to try and get it locked in. I don't know how that's going to work because they're all sprung. Oh, I think I see how. I think these little holes right here, you can stick something in there to hold that little roller back. Hold that roller back like that or something. No, that won't work. Yeah, it went right in there. I don't know how that happened, but it went in. So you see how it works. It catches that way and it freewheels this way. I kind of bingled up the threads on the shaft a little bit. I had this bolt here. It was kind of too big, kind of went into the shaft where the crankshaft bolt, because this hole is, see, bigger than the crankshaft bolt. So I kind of bingled it up a little bit, but I think I can rethread it. I'm trying to get you guys back over there. My hands are so slippery, I got oil everywhere. But yeah, I'm gonna have to find a thread. I think this is like a fine thread screw. So I don't want to mess it up. It acts like it wants to start. I don't know what I did with the socket, but I'll find a tap and rethread that. So now we got this magneto thing off, starter clutch. We can break down the other motor and get that swap. We'll put this back outside to further notice. Alright, so we got the side cover off of this motor here in the bike. I don't actually see anything wrong with the starter clutch, but I know it's freewheeling. I think the bearing inside of the starter clutch is letting this gear slip. Everything was still intact, so let's see. I don't see anything wrong with the gear. It's got to be that starter clutch. It's just not grabbing the back of the flywheel or stator magneto. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off. We're gonna swap it out anyway. Like I said, the starter turns over good. So move my oil pan out of the way. I think that's a 15-16. So we'll go ahead and made a little different. The other one, well, I can get the wrench on the other one to hold it. We'll just see what's going on. Now what I'm going to do this time different so I won't mess those threads up, I'm going to actually take a rod. I got a metal rod. I'm going to cut it off so when I put the bolt inside of there, the crankshaft, it won't smush up against the end of the crankshaft and mess up the threads where I can't start the actual bolt that holds this on. So what I'm going to do, there's actually a special tool that you use that pushes this off, which I don't have. I got a lot of pulley and magneto stator pullers, but there's so many different ones these days, especially on the older bikes. Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut this rod off, just a regular rod. Cut it off kind of short. Goes in there a long way. Cut it off shorter than this right here, and shove it in there, and then when I put the bolt that I got in there, it will push against this rod, which this is inside of the crankshaft, and it won't damage the threads. So I'm going to cut this off, try and keep a measurement here. And cut this off, and we'll stick it in there. We get something to mark this with. Alright, so what I did, just cut that rod off real short. and it's still kind of warm. Stick that off in there, because it's a pretty good distance between the crankshaft and the inside of the crank. Those threads got kind of messed up when I went inside the crankshaft on that other bike. I hope this don't mess me up here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get another bolt. First set of threads is smushed. Alright, so I found another bolt. That should work out better there. I don't know why the wrench won't fit around that. Oh, now it will. It will without the bolt on there. Should be a 7/8. Easy, cup of easy. Thing don't look worn out, but it's something, reason why it's not letting it grab all the time. It had some play in it too. We'll save this little booger. So it's got like a brass bushing in there. It looks kind of worn. It had a little slop in it. I don't know. We'll just put the other one back on there. I guess why I got this off. Be easy to get the gasket maker stuff off of here. Go get a razor blade, clean that off real good. I think there's just those little gripper bushings inside of the starter clutches starting to give out, I guess. They actually grab the outside of this. What the deal is with all the sealant in there. So these things have a hydraulic torque converter. It's a 2-speed automatic transmission. I read up on them a little bit. I'll probably throw it up on the screen so you guys can see it. They have a unique system, not like the Honda and the Husqvarna. Husqvarna had a self-shifting automatic motorcycle as well. I think Honda was first at it, and then Husqvarna. I might be wrong, but I know Suzuki came in last. But yeah, it was very unique. Honda had the 750 Honda-matic back in the 80s, early 80s. I don't know why Suzuki didn't make a bigger one. I guess they did their little spin on it, and they were like, you know what, we're done with it, you know. They were really doing it just to get back at Honda. It was pretty cool, just a giant size scooter. Maybe this one will run way better than the other one. But we know the other one, transmission's messed up. Alright, so that's nice and clean. Get a little brake cleaner. Grease off of there. So we get ready to put the side cover back on. We ain't gotta worry about all that oil on the gasket maker and not let it stick. Alright, so this is one out of the other bike. Sure, no trash in my shaft. So that one don't. That other one had a lot of slop in it when it was on there. That one's kind of tight. Yeah, I got those threads a little bit. I brought that bolt back out. But as long as we didn't damage the threads inside of the crankshaft. Now this thing has got a tapered crankshaft, so there's no keyway. See how it still spins? It actually, when you put that bolt on there, it just torques it up on the crankshaft. I need to find out the crankshaft bolt torque specs. Also, since it's tapered, it don't have a keyway. See, once you get the bolt on there, you can't get a wrench. Should have took the grinder. I should have took my grinder and cut down on that bolt just a little bit, where to let that get up in there. But I found out the torque specs on the crankshaft bolt. That one ain't got a whole lot of slop in it. The other one was kind of wiggly. So I believe it was throwing the gear off also. So anyway, I'm gonna get the torque specs, get this torque down, get the side cover back on, get the oil back in it, and hopefully it'll fire up this time. No more starter clutch issues. So just to show you a view of the tool you use to hold the stator magneto, there's a special wrench that goes on to it, and then you can use a wrench or a socket to break the crankshaft nut loose. That's a special tool. That's the part number for it. And then I was looking at the torque converter, where you can use one of those slide hammering tools. Where did I see the torque converter at? It's good having the manual that shows you about the engine. Find the torque converter. Here it is. So that is the torque converter right there. It looks like a car torque converter. Rides against the counterbalance gear for the transmission. Usually that's where the clutch will go, but it's got an automatic torque converter. There's another picture of it somewhere in here. Oh, the torque specs. So torque specs for that crankshaft boat, 79.5 to 94.0 foot-pounds. Put a little thread locker on there. So I took it back out. I'm gonna put some thread locker. There's the torque converter again. See how it looks on the back side. So yeah, so I'm gonna put some thread locker on the bolt. I found the skinnier 7/8 wrench that'll work perfect. And then I torque it all down and put the cover back on, let the silicone sit first, let it dry up a little bit before I put the oil back in it. Should be good to go. So I got to looking through the manual again, and I noticed that there was something missing on the starter gear. If you look at this picture, there's a little washer that goes on the shaft in front of the starter gear, and it says install starter idle gear and washer and shaft. So that thing didn't have a washer on it. It was missing. It just had the gear itself sticking out with the shaft. So I got to digging through the parts box, and I found this spacer washer. It looks just like the picture, so it goes on the shaft, and that explains why the other starter gear if you look at it closely, it's got all them shiny marks on it right there. This has been moving forward and backwards against that gear behind the magneto, and that can cause that starter gear not to starter clutch not to work right also, because it's got a lot of play in it. It's just kind of floating around, because he had that cover off trying to figure out why it wasn't firing. So we're gonna put that on there. Then I got to look into the manual also, and I found another big view of the torque converter. It's got little springs in it. It's kind of cool how that works. So it's a good thing I got this manual. He gave me the manual to the bike. So now I've already test fitted that cover and put it on there, and everything seems to snug up. So I'll finish putting it together. Alright, here she is. She's a little sweaty, but it's charging now. So I'm gonna take it out for a test spin and see how she rides. I went ahead and took that sissy bar backrest off of it, kind of give it the normal look. But yeah, she's charging. I think what I'm gonna do, this one's got the better looking rims and it's got a good back tire. I think I'm gonna put that back tire and rim on this bike here. And I still gotta fix one turn signal. I've been letting it sit here and run. It's charging and everything. See how bright the lights are. Yep. She is almost ready for the highway. So I'm gonna get it out, just test drive around the neighborhood a little bit before I try and do a real long ride on it. Back brakes are a little sketchy, but she's hitting on both cylinders and flying right up. Let's see what it restart. I've been letting it run, charge that battery up. Oh yeah, she is good to go, folks. So let's get it around the block a couple times, see what she do. So the test drive went pretty good. It's got a lot of power for it being a 450. This thing here, I guess when you come to a stop, that's when you put it in neutral, because if you don't, it'll just sit there and kind of pull away from you. So you have to shift it to neutral, and then you can shift it up in low or D, which is drive. I don't understand that, but it seems like when you got it in L, which is low, it pulls off way better than it does in drive. But you can actually shift it from low to drive at high speeds, but I wouldn't recommend downshifting it. Maybe that's what happened to this bike, the reason why the transmission is tore up. I've been trying to watch some videos on these things to figure out how do you drive them and shift them, but I just know if you pull up to a stop sign and you got it in gear, it tries to pull away a little bit. I idled it down, so maybe that helped it out. But runs pretty good, motor don't smoke, just like this one didn't smoke with the bad transmission. But I'm just going to start swapping stuff over. This one's got some nice looking pipes. It's not all rusty too bad. It's got a good back tire. This back tire is dry rotted, so I'm gonna swap that over, and gonna replace the front fender. Both of these front fenders just got dents in the tips, but the parts bike's got a good one, so I'm gonna swap the fenders over, and just whatever's not rusty on on this bike. I'm gonna swap it to this bike. Like I said, I tried to rig up those side covers, they wouldn't fit, so I'm still looking for side covers. I did find 2 right sides but no left side, so I'm still working on that. They're kind of pricey. These people know what they got. The gas tank, I think this is the 82 gas tank. It don't bolt down right at the back because this is the 83. 82 was the first year, but I got it on there. But other than that, I gotta do something about the front brakes, because this one here, he broke the bolts off, or bolt out in the reservoir. It don't work anyway, but this one actually works, but it sticks, so it needs to be cleaned. So we'll probably pluck that off of this bike too, put it on there so we can get the front brakes. I got a front turn signal, right turn signal that don't work. I think it's a grounding issue inside of it. Just little knick-knack stuff, but I like to just put all the good chrome stuff off that bike and the other bike on this one. Just make it look a little decent. Probably gonna put it up for sale anyway, but at least it don't look like it's been laying in the backyard somewhere. Like this chrome cover here is really rusted and pitted. This one's got a real nice one, just needs a little polish. So yeah, so that's my plan. See, what else did I see? Oh yeah, the tail light housing. See how it's all dry rotted? That one's got a good one. So I'm just gonna kind of swap stuff over what I can, make it look decent, and somebody want to buy it. Like I said, this one's got a title, the other 2 don't. I'm probably gonna just sell them all 3 together. That way, whoever buys it got parts bikes and plenty of parts to keep one going. I said that other motor on the other one might be good. I'm not sure. And you could put that motor on this frame and get a title for it, or vice versa. You could put the wire harness on the other one and get a title for it. The carburetors that were on this bike needs to be really gone through again. I think they're gonna need new needles and seats. They started leaking, so the carbs on this bike came off this bike. And then it's gonna need another gas tank. I mean, it's just, you know, if somebody wanted to get them, just play around with them, have 2 or 3. They're rare bikes, and I've been searching marketplace, internet, eBay, and stuff for them. It's hard to get. I mean, there's some places on eBay that's got parts, but like the side covers and stuff like that, it's really hard. So if you got 3 mechanically, you can keep it going. So I'm gonna try and plug some of that stuff over on there, and we'll see what we can get it to look like, clean it up a little bit, and then we'll take it out for another cruise. Alright, so we got more GS450A side covers, and this one right here is a beaut. Just look at that. There's not a scratch on it. These things are really, really rare, and I went through a lot to get some good matching ones. And this one is the other one. I think it's got like some broken tabs on it. This is the battery side. So he had this thing wrapped really good. Let me get it unwrapped. So this is the right side, and the only thing wrong with it, just got a little fiberglass repair. I thought it had a broken tab, but it don't. But these are beautiful, and they actually match the gas tank that came off of the bike with the bad transmission, but the gas tank's no good. So I'm gonna get this thing out, get it over here. We'll get the side covers on, and we'll try and put that fairing on the front, that cafe fairing, and clean it up a little bit more. I kind of polished some of the chrome on it, and I think it's gonna look good. But the tank's all scratched up, but I can't find a good gas tank for the GS450L and T model. Is different from the A model. So if I can find a gas tank, that'll be cool. I checked with this guy who I got the panel from. He didn't have a gas tank. It'd been cool if he had the gas tank that matches these side covers. I'm pretty sure by looking at these side covers that the gas tank is going to look that good. So let's get the bike over here, dress it up, and I'll show y'all how it looks after. Alright guys, so I got the side covers on. Come to find out, that is not the right tank either. The way the seat meets the gas tank, I think the A gas tank is a little narrower down there, but it's going to have to do for right now. But those side covers look real good on this bike. Now on this side, being that the gas tank is kind of, you know, patinaed, not too good. Unless I take some touch-up black paint, just kind of touch it up. But I end up putting some of this edge trim. You put it on your doors, keep from scratching the edges of your doors like you throw them open against a wall or something. I put some of that stuff around the gas tank here because this was really, really rusty looking, and the side cover is right. There's no space between the side cover and the tank, and I didn't want to scratch those covers. So yeah, that thing turned out pretty good. So next I'll put the shield on. I'm thinking about ordering some new mirrors for it, and I'm gonna try and polish up some of this aluminum that's on the cases. I know it's gonna be kind of hard to do. It's in real bad shape. I might try and polish that up, make the engine look a little cooler, and polish up some of the chrome. And oh yeah, I gotta fix that turn signal too. That turn signal, something's wrong on the inside. I might not even fool with it. I hate to take the headlight back off. I have time getting all the wires and stuff up behind it. But yeah, those side covers set it off. And then now we got a spare side cover that we can sell, because these are so hard to find. Luckily the guy had those too. I did find some other ones though, but someone had took the emblems off and super glued a reflector on each side. I don't know why they did that. They put an orange and red reflector on both side covers, and the guy wanted like $150 a piece. I think I gave $139 for both of them, I think, plus shipping. So that was a real good solid deal. I didn't know those side covers would be that hard to find when I first got to messing with this bike. But anyway, I am going to try and clean up some more stuff, put shield on, mirrors. We'll go from there, get it out, and cruise it. Well, just messing around with this windshield cafe style fairing thingy, and I got it up on there, but the gauge cluster is so wide that it won't let the fairing go in enough so I can bolt up the windshield without really putting some force and stretching it. I could bring the headlight out, the fairing out some, but it'll be a big gap between the light and inside of there. So I don't know if I'm gonna try and run that thing or not. I might play around with it some more just to see, but it looks kind of cool though. It looks kind of cool with that on the front. Gives it that 80s style, I guess, Mad Max look. I wish I could find a bigger one. They had some bigger ones. This is like a cheap aftermarket one. But they got some bigger ones. They're a lot better. They got a taller windshield. But those things are so hard to find, and I found some like somebody might have, and they are expensive. So we might play around with it. If I can't get to work on there, I'll just not worry about it. We'll use it on something else. But okay. So as you see, I've been polishing this thing up. Polished up the side engine case covers. That's the stator cover. Polished the wheels up. Been kind of cleaning it up some. Polished this side cover up on the engine. The clutch torque converter cover. Polished up the pipes. And I was going to put this windshield on there, but I can't get it to go on the headlight. This fairing is actually made for a smaller headlight, and see how the brackets are made, and it's not wide enough to go on the headlight mounts, so it's just not going to work. It's for a smaller headlight, so we're not even going to put it on there. I don't want to go rigging and drilling and trying to make it work and destroy the headlight, the fairing, and so we'll just leave the bike just like it is. I just got to bolt the seat down, and I found a mirror for it. It's not the right mirror, but I found one for it. Lisa's got two. So we're just going to leave the headlight like it is, and that'll be it. So I got a little bit more tidying up to do on it, and we'll get this thing out for a cruise again. I went through the front brakes, got the front brakes working, and I put it around the block, and the front brakes was kind of grabby on it, so I brought it right back. So hopefully I got those cleaned up enough where they won't be sticking. I don't want to do a full flip over with it, but it is running good. Like I said, I just got to get the seat bolted down right, and I wish I can get that rust off the pipes, but the exhaust bolts are stuck in the head, and I just do not want to break it off in there. So I was going to change out the pipes off the other bike because they're pretty decent, but I don't want to risk breaking off one of the bolts off in the head. So we're just going to leave them like they are. Maybe if somebody buys it, which I'm going to sell them, somebody buy them, they can get some pipe wrapping put on it, or if they want to mess around with getting the bolts out, you know, that's on them. But I am going to put them up for sale, so any of you guys out there interested in all three bikes, I'm probably going to ask around $1,500 for all three of them. This is the best running one here. Of course, the other one's got a bad transmission, no title, and the other one, the engine turns over, but I don't know what shape it's in. I don't know what shape the transmission in. You could put that engine over on the bike that doesn't have a title, that's still got all the wiring and stuff on it. You could build another one, get your title, and have two. But I think around $1,500 for all three bikes. This one's got a clear title, comes with an owner's manual, and a bunch of other parts. So once I get out of something, I get rid of everything that goes with them. So it's late. Get the seat bolted down, and we'll try and get this thing out, cruise it around. And that's it. Alright, so we're going to take it on a little test run down the road. Down there we got some heavy clouds moving in. It's been so hot, I've been trying to get a good time to do this. I've only rode around the block just one time, so I'm going to take it for a little stroll up and down the road and see how good it runs. So let's do it. keep wanting to gear down. Now that's low gear there. Let's put it down and drive. Quiet bike. Drive is kind of, it don't has the motor at high RPMs. put it in D in drive gear, low gear has the engine RPM so high. If you put it in D and take off, man, it takes off way better. The engine don't sound like it's overworking itself. So this is low right here. You can tell the difference in the engine when you got it in low. So we're gonna go to neutral, let the RPMs go down. Low, drive. Drive gear, get on out there. This bike actually runs pretty doggone good. I felt a few raindrops, so I'm going to pack it up and head on in. I hope y'all enjoyed these series on the 1983 Suzuki GS450A Automatic bikes. Like I say, you put it in drive gear and it gives you more takeoff. The motor don't sound like it's overwinding. In low gear, I guess it's made for like if you're taking off on a hill. But the old bike runs pretty good. It still needs a speedometer cable. The right turn signal on the front doesn't work. I tried fixing it, but it's all corroded on the inside. And it still needs some polishing. Like I say, I polished the side casings on the engine a little bit. Kind of cleaned it up some. But it looks better than it did when we first got it. Now some of these parts are off of the bike that has the bad transmission, so we just kind of took all three bikes and made one. Found some side covers. Still not the correct gas tank. That's actually a GS450T or L gas tank, but it'll do, because you can tell by the gap right here between the seat. It's supposed to have like a more of a low incline tank. I got the original tank that came off the bike with the bad transmission, but it's all rotted out. But like I say, it's just an old bike, 83 model. So y'all interested in it, hit me up on my Instagram. That's RPM Auto 4 on Instagram, or you can shoot me an email at rpmauto780@yahoo.com. I pretty much wanted to get 1,500 out of all the bikes. I might be a little flexible, but I know what I got in them. And like I say, there's tons of parts you might can build that other bike, take the engine off of it, and build another bike, and have two. The only thing is they don't have titles. But anyway, I am going to pack up because this wind and the trees are whistling out here. We got a storm that's coming through. Clouds and darkened down real bad. I guess there's one guy out here riding the four-wheeler back in the trails. But anyway, I'm gonna load up and get out of here. Y'all please hit that like button. That gives YouTube a signal to put my videos on out there, and share and subscribe if you haven't. Do those three things for me. There'll be more to come. Thank you to the people that are subscribed, that's commenting and hitting like. You can check out the second channel, RPM Auto, more car stuff, truck stuff. There is some bike stuff on there that I did a couple years ago, or maybe a year or so ago. but you can go check that out. But anyway, I'm gonna load up before I get wet. We'll holler at y'all later. Peace out. This is how hard I work for you guys out there in YouTube land. We got a bad storm coming, and I was out here riding the bike and started lightning real bad. Didn't want to get struck by lightning. But you see the Suzuki's back there, and I am heading to the house. So we'll holler at y'all later. Y'all have a safe weekend and a happy not Memorial Day, but Labor Day and Memorial Day next year. All right, guys, see y'all later.